Okay. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Okay, so last time, remember last session we cleared case 3. Yes, case 3, which was in the amusement park, and it shows how much I hate the amusement park. But clearly, not really. But as for tonight, we are going in where it all started. At least for Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Mr. Reiji Mitsurugi. Mr. I am so bad, I know I'm so bad. My controller, folks. Gotta love those technical difficulties. Oh, right. Right. Continue. As we start, what could possibly be... Well, no, we just start. We're going to do A and B tonight, then of course, after that we're going to do most likely C Sunday. The usual stitch. Anyway, chapter start. Kay Faraday. The young lady who calls herself the second Yatagarasu. The piece of cloth that she conjured up has taken me back to many years ago. "7 years earlier. Yeah, that's right. I did it. I killed the guy. But it was the great thief Yatagarasu that told me to... I asked the defendant, just what exactly are you trying to say? Don't you get it? I know the tragedy at Yatagarasu! The Yatagarasu is the man standing over there at the prosecutor's bench. Are you saying that I'm the Yatagarasu? Don't you deny it! You told me that to kill him when you snuck into the embassy. Are you claiming that Mr. Faraday is the Yatagarasu? That's exactly what... Mr. L, I think we've heard just about enough of you. Your Honor, please listen to me. I'm telling the truth. You gotta believe me! In accordance with the defendant's accusation, a new prosecutor shall be called to replace Mr. Faraday. This court will be in recess until the new prosecutor is ready. September 10th, 3:20 p.m. District Court, third floor lobby. Ugh. It's almost time for me to enter the courtroom. And so it is that my first assignment as a prosecutor would be as a replacement for a prosecutor who has been accused by the defendant. Edgeworth. Sir! Have you read over all of the documents regarding this trial? Yes, sir. I've memorized everything there is to know. Very good. The paperwork for the prosecutor's substitution is just about complete. Edgeworth, always bear in mind that as your mentor, I, Manfred von Kolmer, will accept nothing short of perfection. I understand, sir. To have the chance to stand in court at such an early stage of my career, I am honored and proud. As I have watched over your studies, I am giving you this very rare chance. Prove yourself. Crush the defendant's pathetic lies into oblivion. Yes, sir! That such a legendary prosecutor is watching over and judging my performance. I have to be perfect in every way. Today's trial should have ended in just 1 minute. Because the defendant was picked up by the security camera, correct? Exactly. The killer had the gall to say that he only killed because he was instructed to do so. Even more outrageous is his claim that the case prosecutor, Bern Faraday, gave the order. Ha! Faraday's such a fool. He's been cornered by his very own prey. Sir, are you an acquaintance of Mr. Bern Faraday? He's a pathetic man who speaks nothing but nonsense. Nonsense? He once tried to explain to me a way of punishing those who cannot be bought. He once tried to explain to me a way of punishing those who cannot be brought to court. Those who cannot be brought to court? That is nonsense, for no man is above the law. Well, there are always a few exceptions. However, there is no reason to even deal with such individuals. A prosecutor is a guardian of the court, one with no obligation to outside matters. Thus, there is no reason to deal with such individuals. Mitsurugi, disgracing yourself as Faraday will not be forgiven. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Disgracing yourself as Faraday has... Okay. Disgracing yourself as Faraday has will not be forgiven. Have no fear. I will not let you down, sir. In place of the accused prosecutor, Bern Faraday, I'll prove the defendant's guilt. Very good. I've secured an hour of recess for you to prepare to do just that. Show them all the power of von Kolmer! So, have you achieved a firm understanding of the case? Yes, sir. I have memorized everything that is written down in the case files. Well, explain the case to me. I want to see if you really know what you are talking about. Understood. A murder was committed on September 8th in front of the Kodopian embassy. The victim, Mr. Deadman, was a staff member at the embassy. Deadman? The defendant in this case, Mr. Mackerel, Deadman, was held for questioning the night of the incident as he was deemed suspicious. He was quickly placed under arrest for possession of the murder weapon, a gun. Furthermore, at the time of the murder, the great thief Yatagarasu had successfully infiltrated the Kodopian embassy as well. At first, Rel claimed that he himself was Yatagarasu, but that he did not kill dead man. He was already dead, man. I wonder what he expected to gain from such a desperate lie. It's possible that he wants to go down while in the spotlight if he is found guilty. There truly is no limit to people's inanity. But I digress. Continue, Edgewell. Yes, sir. During the trial, the prosecution presented the security footage that captured the murder. The footage clearly showed Mr. Rel as the murderer. The act of Mr. Rel firing the gun could be clearly seen from the visitors' gallery. Upon seeing that, the defendant retracted his statement and admitted to the murder. I did because I was told to, by the real Yatagarasu, Byrne Faraday. That sounds about right. However, you've forgotten one thing. Well, this may appear to simply be the murder of a Kodopian embassy staff member. People are actually referring to it as the second KG-8 incident. The second KG-8 incident? I'm very sorry, sir. I fear I failed to study hard enough. Well, even among the police, it's information that only a select few are privy to. Could you please enlighten me, sir? Sir, what do you mean by the second KG-8 incident? In order for me to tell you that, you must first learn about the original case. Take a look at these documents. This is a 3-year-old newspaper. You have heard of the Amano Group scandal before, correct? Yes, I have. The secretary of Ernest Amano, the Amano Group's director, was arrested under suspicion of smuggling. Correct. CCU was an employee of the Amano Group and the sole witness to the smuggling operation. It was she who brought the crime to light. However, Miss Yu was silenced before she could testify in court. Wasn't a Kodopian embassy staff member arrested for the murder? Yes, a Kodopian by the name of Manik Kochin was the suspect. However, due to the lack of evidence, the case went unresolved. Lack of evidence? Huh! If only I was in charge of the case. I would have done everything in my power to prove his guilt. To make sure that all criminals are found guilty. My mentor really is dedicated. Faraday was the prosecutor on the case then, and he was as pathetic as ever. Mr. Faraday was in charge of the KG-8 incident as well? That's right. And now once again, the victim of the case you are currently assigned to was someone who was scheduled to testify against that smuggling organization. And just like last time, the victim was murdered right before he was to testify. You're catching on. The victim was murdered just before his day in court against the smuggling organization. Events are occurring almost exactly the same way as they did in the KG-8 incident. So that's why it's being called the second KG-8 incident. Yes. Yet there's one difference between the two incidents. What would that be? The so-called noble thief that is sending everyone into an uproar. The great thief, Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu? I better find out more. If it is true that the Yatagarasu showed up at the Kodopian embassy, what could he or she have been after? No doubt to steal any suspicious accounting record and release them publicly. Or more likely to steal secrets from the Kodopian embassy itself, since the item that the Yatagarasu stole from them was sent to police. What was it that the Yatagarasu sent to the police? I don't know the details. Anything related to the Yatagarasu is getting the top secret treatment. Still, I find it very ironic. By returning the stolen item to the police, it was proof positive that the Yatagarasu had infiltrated the embassy on the same day the staff member was killed. Criminals have a way of incriminating themselves, wouldn't you say? That would have to be the first time the Yatagarasu has left evidence behind, correct? Yes, indeed. If you wish to learn more about the Yatagarasu, then I suggest you ask Faraday. Mr. Faraday? He happens to be the prosecutor in charge of the Yatagarasu case as well. He's the prosecutor in charge of both the KG-8 incident and the Yatagarasu case? Mr. Faraday really has a lot on his plate. What is it, little girl?
You're scary, mister.
Did you need something?
I want to trade these coins with you.
A fistful of dimes, quarters, and pennies. But it looks like you've exactly $1. Is this what you want?
Thanks. That's exactly what I needed.
Could that child be here to watch the trial? How disrespectful for a child like that to be running around inside the courthouse. Does no one have respect for this country's judicial system anymore?
The paperwork for the prosecutor's substitution is complete.
Why you? Do you even know how much time there is left before the trial resumes?
I'm so sorry. I can have you
mopping up this courthouse instead of protecting it in an instant.
It's no bother, sir. Not being completely prepared could prove to be a perfect handicap for me.
Proud one you are. You had better collect the evidence from Faraday and prepare yourself. It's time for your debut, Edgeworth.
Oh, shit.
Just what is going on? Why isn't Faraday here yet? How is it possible that the defense is not prepared yet, either?
Bailiff, where is Mr. Faraday? I'm not sure. I wasn't really paying attention. Ah, you must be the one Mr. Von Karma recommended.
I hear that this will be your first trial. I look forward to seeing how you perform. Oh, by the way, was there someone celebrating a birthday during the recess? I could have sworn that I heard a papa. Come to think of it, the other day, with my grandson.
So it looks like the trial is about to resume, however.
Yes, it will be all but impossible to prove the witness. Without the evidence from Faraday. What is that blasted buffoon up to?
It's an emergency, sirs!
Silence! There shall be no yelling in this sacred hall of law. Bailiff, remove that man from this courtroom at once.
Please, wait. You have to listen to me. There's an emergency. Defendant lobby, number 2, Mr. Faraday and the defendant. The two of them, they're both dead, Your Honor. What?
September 10th, District Court, Holy.
Stay back.
No one's allowed on the crime scene. Period.
Just who does the oddball think he is? This has become quite the hot spot. Isn't she Miss Wells, defense attorney? Hey, you! No running in the hallway, pal!
And who are you to tell me what to do?
I'll never find out what's going on like this. It's time for some civil discourse.
And you are...
Who? Me? Hey, pal. It's common courtesy to tell someone your name first before asking theirs.
Point taken. My name is Miles Edgeworth, District Prosecutor.
Prosecutor? I've never seen a prosecutor as young as you, pal.
I've told you my name, now would you mind telling me yours?
Detective Dick Gumshoe. Just recently, I achieved my dream of becoming a detective. More than a dream, it's what I was born to do. Oh, wait, maybe I should check and make sure I'm not really in some crazy dream first.
This detective is entirely too excited to be at a murder scene. So, Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling me what you know about the incident?
You know that I don't have to tell you anything, right?
I know that. But it would behoove you to fill me in on what you know.
Wow, you're a proud one for such a youngster, aren't you? Well, anyway, Detective Bad is the one in charge. So, you're just gonna have to ask him for all the details, okay? As for me, I was guarding the door to defend lobby number 2.
So, you were the guard detail. Did you notice anything strange while you were on duty?
Well, I freaked out when I heard a gunshot, and then I kind of froze.
You're a detective in a measly gunshot schedule, that much. And again, I can hardly claim to know was like to hear one at close range.
Then Detective Bad came running to the scene.
We went into lobby number 2 together, and both men were lying there dead. Is that everything?
Yeah, that's it. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle.
Interesting. Other than the gunshot, he didn't hear a single sound of commotion. Do you have a minute?
You know, I'm not really into talking to people I don't know. Especially at a time like this.
I apologize for not introducing myself before bothering you. My name's Miles Edgeworth. I was to take Mr. Faraday's place in court.
Edgeworth, huh? I never heard you. So Faraday's substitute is a newbie, huh?
I'll have you know, madam, that I studied under Manfred von Karma.
Do not take me for some naive novice. Do not take me for some naive novice. So you're a student of Karma? I should. Those clothes are taken away.
Stop right there! These are the garments of one who gallantly presents the facts.
Oh, thanks for the great laugh. But try not to make me laugh so much, okay?
I wasn't trying to do anything of the sort!
Just kidding, I was just goofing around! By the way, do you know who I am? My name is Callisto Yu.
Callisto Yu.
And if you're telling the truth, then we were about to go head to head in court. But of course, I have heard much about you, monsieur. But of course, I have heard much about you. You are a regular Shakespeare!
Did I say something funny? I'd like you to update me on the situation.
I don't really know anything. Why don't you try talking to those detectives over there?
If that's the case, then why are you here? What's so funny?
It's just the way you speak is so tactless. The person I was going against in court until only a little while ago was just murdered. It's not like I could go back into the courtroom pretending as though nothing happened.
That's a good point. I apologize for asking such an insensitive question.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Excuse me, but who are you?
Detective Tyro Bad. Homicide.
I was informed of the situation and came as quickly as possible. So how did you arrive and inspect the body before me?
Faraday requested for me to testify in a trial. Please,
Mr. Faraday requested that you be here?
I've already contact or HQ about the situation. I've got nothing to say to you.
Kid! I'm Mr. Faraday's substitute in today's trial. Therefore, I insist that you update me on the situation. I can't back down here. I have a right to know.
Do I need to teach you a thing or two about how to talk to adults, kid?
Is he threatening me? Is he going for his gun? It's just a mirror. How dare he trick me like that?
Faraday was stabbed to death with some kind of blade. And he had a gun in his hand. The other man, Mr. Mackrell, was shot and killed. He was found holding a bloody knife in his hand.
Was there anyone else who went into defendant lobby number 2?
Yeah, that big lug over there. Name's Gumshoe. He was in charge of guarding the place. Claiming that no one he was claiming that no one else entered the room.
If that's the case, then they must have killed each other, correct?
Maybe.
Such impudence. This guy is really testing my patience. Why was I not informed that you were going to testify in court?
Homicides are my only gig. The Atagrasa case is also one of my assignments.
So you were called upon to comment on the Yatagarasa's characteristics in order to assess if Mr. Faraday really was the Yatagarasu or not?
Well, looks like you just might have a brain after all in the head of yours, son.
Son? I'm not your son, Pops. Miss you! There's someone here who wishes to see you. Who is it? A Kodopian embassy staff member by the name of Manny Kochin. What's going on? Detective Patton's moves just changed all of a sudden. Wait a second. Was it Manny Kochin? I'll be right there. It's nice to see you again, Missy. Why are you here? I have no desire to ever see you again. Now. Actually, would you mind stepping outside for a brief chat? Fine. Let's go.
Bud. Karuna. It's been a long time. I knew you would show up. You usually do when the Yatagarasu is involved, and I see this case is no exception.
Do you know Detective Batser?
Yes. He's like an old bloodhound that never leaves the scene of a crime. If only he would get a promotion and move on. It's the crime scene where a detective is most useful and effective. It's not like I don't know that. Moving on though, Bad. The man that I just passed by, was he not the suspect from the KG-8 incident?
So I was right.
Just what is that man doing, wandering around here? That Faraday. I cannot believe he let such an easy catch get away! Imbecile! I would have proved his guilt in 3 minutes.
Name that too. Karma.
poor taste to speak like that about the departed. Your Karo. Back on topic. I'm placing Edgeworth in charge of the investigation here.
Objection!
Papa! How can you place him in charge? May, what are you doing here? I am here for summer vacation. Where is May Francisca Karuma? So she's here on vacation from Germany. She is the daughter of Manfred von Karma and a student of his, who's also junior to me. You are the one who is junior to me, and don't you forget it!
You're not conveniently avoiding the bar exam, are you?
Ha! If you were able to pass, then I will have absolutely no trouble at all. I will never allow myself to lose to you! Never!
Why does she always have to be this competitive? I know someone like that.
Anything, Papa? Are you really assuring Miss Edgeworth to cover this case?
Yes, I am. Why do you ask?
Well, you know, I am close to becoming prosecutor myself. And I am 100% confident that I can do a better job than him.
It's just like me. She has no problem bad-mouthing someone right in front of them. But, yeah. These two will be conducting the investigation.
What? You want me to let both of these kids loose on a crime scene?
This is a perfect opportunity for them to work on their prosecutorial skills.
Crime scene is not a place for children to be messing around in. I am the one with the authority over this crime scene, bad. And I will not tolerate complaining. Edgeworth! Francisca! I leave this case to the two of you.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir. Yes, Papa.
I will go and take care of the paperwork now. Remember, I will accept nothing but a perfect report from the both of you. Do not disappoint me.
Hold up, Karuma! I still need to...
Miss Edgeworth?
It's been quite some time, Francisca.
This will be a perfect chance for us to make out.
What?
To see which of us is truly worthy of the Von Karma name. Would it kill you to at least say hello? Long time no see.
Very good.
Just because you became a prosecutor first does not mean you can act all proud.
Ah! She hasn't changed a bit.
Reiji Mitsurugi, as I was saying, we shall see which one of us is worthy of the Kuruma name.
Or crying out loud. I've been reduced to a babysitter.
Oh, God. Looks like Mr. Von Karma was successful in convincing the detective. That's just like him. He never fails. Now, I'd appreciate it if you could quickly run me through the facts, Detective Band. You're better off checking things out on your own. Very well. Seems like getting help from Detective Bad would be a most arduous task. September 10th, 4:15 p.m. Inside lobby number 2. It's the only real explanation that they killed each other simultaneously.
Miles Edgeworth, you should listen to someone until they are finished talking.
What are you talking about?
I will only say it one more time. This is a competition to see who is truly worthy of the Karuma name.
A competition.
The person that figures out the truth first wins.
So the person who doesn't discover the truth is a dishonor to the name?
Exactly. I do not care that you became a prosecutor before me. I simply refuse to hear any more foolish things coming from your foolish mouth.
Fine, whatever makes you happy.
Can I take that as you accepting my challenge?
Once again, whatever makes you happy.
Ha! Well then, let us begin the investigation, shall we? I am going to find the perfect evidence and prettily present it like the professional I am.
Competing to discover the truth behind a crime now delightfully childish. You kids over there, hold it!
Kid? Ha! Serves you right, Myers. He just called you a kid.
I said kids, kid.
How dare you call me a kid as well?
I'll do whatever I please, and I won't allow you to cause a ruckus on my crime scene. Hey, big guy. You're going to watch over these two.
Yes, sir! Detective Bat, sir! Now, do what I say from now on, kids, okay? You'd better not get in our way, Scruffy. You will feel the bite of my whip if you do.
But you, prosecutor boy, let's get your investigation started already, alright? Great. Now, even that detective is treating me like a child. Alright, investigating time! Get a move on, prosecutor boy!
My name is Miles Edgeworth. And if you were to call me Prosecutor Boy one more time, it will be my duty as a prosecutor to look into your monthly salary. What? And what would you do with my salary after you saw how much it was?
That's up to you now, isn't it?
Really? Sounds good, pal.
So, investigation, start! Okay. Detective Bad, may I have a word with you?
What is it?
It appears that both a knife and a gun were used as murder weapons.
Yeah, it does.
That leads us to our first question of the investigation. Where did the men acquire the weapons?
The gun was inside of Faraday's bag. It's a piece of evidence that was presented in the trial earlier today. It was used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member. But I never heard anything about the knife. Mr. Rell was being held by the police. There's no way he could have brought it in. Which means it's possible that Faraday had the knife on him from the start as well.
It's been a piece of evidence that had yet to be presented. But then why doesn't Detective Bad know about it? Wait, what? It's possible that Mr. Faraday brought the knife in under the guise of prosecutorial evidence. He could have then brought it out and attacked Mr. Rell with it.
Maybe you got a brain in there after all,
Is he going to treat me like a child forever?
It looks like Mr. Faraday attacked Mr. Rell first, and counterattacked. That's the only logical conclusion you can draw from the scene like this.
Not yet. I feel that it's much too early to be drawing conclusions already. I must first find conclusive evidence, so as to ensure the honor of the Von Karma name.
So we go to the right, with that open curtain.
The window's open and there's a fresh flowery scent in the air.
Oh, the flowers in the gardens down there are so gross and ghastly.
Do you think maybe you could try offering something useful for a change?
Well, at least there's no way someone escaped through the window, pal. They wouldn't wake up and smell the flowers after a fall from the third floor.
Are you willfully ignoring the fact that there are also iron bars in the windows? Logic.
Yeah, I guess there's that too. Either way, no one could get there through these windows, right?
Yeah, I guess there's that too. Either way, no one could get through these windows, right?
They thought of everything when they were designing this courthouse. Very nice.
Table, the stupidly long table. am I pressing? Keep doing it again. There we go.
There's some stuff in the bag, pal. I suppose this was Mr. Faraday's bag. It's probably the trial evidence I was supposed to collect from him. This is the evidence? I better not touch it. I'll leave prints on it. Do you just not pay attention to anything you do? There's some plastic bags stacked up on the table. There's a tea set too, but there doesn't seem to be any sign of a disturbance. Yeah, the table's all neat and tidy. Maybe they were super quiet in their scuffle? After all, I didn't hear anything from out in the hallway, you know. Maybe the plastic bags scattered on the floor throwing us off.
And of course there's a TV.
Whoa! What is it, Detective Gumshoe? My TV at home's so tiny compared to this one, pal!
Then perhaps you should purchase a more normal-sized television like this one.
Let me see here. Wow, this thing's huge! Ah! It's way too noisy! You are the noisy one, Scruffy.
Don't touch it! You'll get your fingerprints all over it.
But I did touch it.
Preservation of the crime scene is the foundation of detective work. Foundation, huh? Sounds like something the rookie here needs to shore up. Let's look at the dead bodies here. Looks like Mr. Faraday fell on top of Mr. Rell. At first glance, seems like they must have killed each other. However,
using logic, the only logical conclusion is aha!
What was that outburst for?
My detective instinct just hit me real hard. It was Mr. Rell that fell first. See,
You don't need a detective's instinct for that. It's common sense.
but I suppose we won't know much more than that until I examine the bodies. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
spread the legs!
How'd that gun? Looks like Mr. Faraday died while holding the gun in his right hand. Looked like Mr. Faraday fell on. So he shot Mr. Rell and then fell on top of him while gripping onto the gun. I guess that does seem kind of strange, huh?
I mean, why would Mr. Faraday know how to fire a gun?
It's not exactly rocket science.
Even I know how to pull the trigger.
Although I doubt I'll ever need you. I hope I never had to fire a gun either, pal. It sure does look cool to hold a gun in your hand. It appears that the police's screening procedures need a thorough review. Anyway, I should jot this down in my
I should jot down some notes about the handgun in Mr. Faraday's hand. Looks like Mr. Rell died with the knife in his hand. There's some blood stuck on it. They must have used this as a weapon. Yep, no doubt about it. Is Mr. Faraday carrying this on his person? Did he bring this as a piece of evidence for this trial? Or did he bring it with a very different intention in mind? I should jot some notes down about it. Why are there plastic bags scattered all around? Those bags are for keeping evidence safe, pal. I know that much, Detective. You sure are good at this stuff, aren't you, pal? Usually I'd be happy when someone compliments me, but when it's disgusting. Anyway, could these plastic bags be evidence of a fight between the two men? Plastic bags thrown about.
Logic.
His hand's all black down here, see? I wonder what it could be. If you look closely, this blotching pattern resembles an ink stain. Ink stain.
Logic.
An ink stain? Yes, I usually get ink on my own hand when I use my feather pen. Feather pen? I've never seen one before. You sure you aren't just making up out? Mr. L's cause of death was from being shot, correct? That's what we think. But it's hard to tell with him lying face down. Death's bad enough, but it's truly lamentable that someone would try to hide the truth. Are you sure they were trying to hide something? I can't confirm Mr. Rell's cause of death with the body positioned like that. Detective Bad, I'd like to examine the bodies in further detail, if possible. What is this? You are not able to form a theory with them the way they are? I believe an examination of the bodies is vital to finding the perfect evidence, don't you? I suppose you do have a point. Then, hurry up and get on with it! Labby. Yes, sir! We've taken enough photos of the scene, sir. And there you have it. Do you not approve? Of course not. What?! Investigation of a crime scene is the work of detectives, so don't touch a thing. Hey, big fella. Turn over the body for me, will you? Okay. Please forgive me, Mr. Faraday, sir. Gumshoe. Do not get emotionally involved. Remember, you're a detective. Yes, sir! Understood, sir! I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. There's something in this breast pocket. It's a fountain pen. Fountain pen in pocket.
Logic.
Hey, you know, I always keep a pencil behind my ear. It's because Detective Bad is always telling me you should always write your name on everything you own. Pretty rule number 1. Dude.
Yes, somehow you do strike me as quite a forgetful individual.
There's a knife wound in his chest here, see? I
wonder if the wound matches the knife Mr. Rell is holding.
Yes, sir. Verify now, sir.
Make it quick. From the look of things, one could deduce that the knife Mr. Rell is holding is what killed Mr. Faraday.
Shot in the chest. It takes some guts to fire a gun in a courthouse.
Hey, 40, how's it going, man?
I mean, I've been a detective for a whole week and I still haven't fired a single round yet. Alright, burn marks on the clothes? That must be... Wait. Burn marks?
The round grows very hot as it is discharged from a fire. Therefore, burn marks are usually left when a shot is fired from point-blank range. There you go. Cool. Yes, the bad guy. We shall call him Mike Anvil. There you go, Mr. Rell must have been shot from at least a yard or two away.
I'm the bad guy, man. You sure do know a bunch of neat stuff for your age, pal.
Apparently, this detective has much common knowledge as your everyday marsupial. Let us now try to understand how the two men died. First, Mr. Faraday took the gun and the knife out from today's trial evidence. Then he aimed the gun at Mr. Rell and fired. However, Mr. Rell managed to grab the knife and counter Mr. Faraday while being shot. Then the two men fell together where they stood. That's my theory in any case.
What a crazy way to go.
Still, something about that explanation just didn't seem right. I believe I now have a firmer grasp on what happened here. So what we need is a connection. So we need to combine the ink stain and the fountain pen in the pocket. That splotch on Mr. Faraday's hand, I wonder if it might be the ink from his fountain pen.
Oh, let's ask the lab guy. Detective Gumshoe, I confirm that the substance on Mr. Faraday's hand is the ink from his fountain pen. I see. Good work.
Yeah, you see that too.
You know, I've always wanted to say that, even if it was just one time in my life.
If Mr. Faraday wrote with his fountain pen in his left hand, I think it's fair to assume he was left-handed. It appears that Mr. Faraday's pen is very important to our case as well.
Okay, if you say so, pal.
And then we have the neat and tidy table with the plastic bags strewn about, and connect those two. There's a very tidy pile of plastic bags on the table, and yet a portion of them wound up scattered on the floor as well. It's not likely that the ones on the floor were knocked over during a struggle. In which case, might there not be another explanation as to how they got there?
Another reason?
I believe it's possible that the blood on the outside of the bag is related somehow.
Hey, get the blood away from me, pal!
Detective Gumshoe, whose blood is on this bag?
Hold on, let me ask Lab Guy.
Alright, please hurry.
Wait till you get a load of this, pal. It's Mr. Faraday's.
Oh, and the technician said they didn't find anything else on or in the bag either. It would appear that this bag is a very important piece of evidence.
Okay, if you say so, I'll leave it in your hands, pal.
I guess there's not much left to investigate, huh? They really did kill each other. No, we can't conclude that quite yet. There's still something I find very peculiar here. The theory that they simply killed one another is too simplistic in this case. In fact, there is actually a contradiction that shows that there is another possibility.
Oh, wait, pal, really?
I suppose I would just have to show you the conflict in this crime scene. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Well, yeah, it should be. The fountain pen. Now we come face to face with the contradiction I spoke of, and it is this. Mr. Faraday used his left hand to write with his fountain pen. Ergo, he's left-handed. And yet, the handgun is in his right hand. Don't you find it odd that the left-handed Mr. Faraday would hold the gun in his right hand? That, lady and gentlemen, is the great contradiction haunting this crime scene.
Hey, you're right, pal. That does seem kind of strange. But how could something like that happen?
The facts add up to one conclusion and one alone. Someone else put the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand after he died.
Someone else?
Plastic bag scattered on the floor and gun in the wrong hand. I sense the presence of a shadowy figure behind this case. A person of vile intent who is serious about keeping the truth from us. So, later that day, here's the autopsy report. It is probable that Mr. Red survived for a short time after he was shot. However, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously from his stabbing. Interesting. It looks like we now know everything we need to know about the case. Are you sure we know everything?
Of course, the incident began with Mr. Faraday attempting to get his revenge. The prosecutor went into a rage from being accused and tried to kill the defendant. But the defendant fought back and they ended up killing each other. It is all very clear and simple. There's absolutely no margin for that.
You really believe that to be the truth?
Ha! Are you saying that just because I figured out the truth before you? That you don't want to believe it is true? It is alright. If you disagree with my argument, then prove me wrong. Well, if there are any contradictions to be found, that is.
Don't worry, I will.
I won't rest until I've searched every suspicious looking nook and cranny, including you, Nay. Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, while Mr. L survived for a short time. From this, it is obvious that Mr. Faraday died after he shot Mr. L, and Mr. L, while on the brink of death, stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him. Those are the facts of this case.
Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, therefore he must have attacked first.
Why are you looking at me like that? What? What?
Proving that logic to be false is probably the fastest way to show her that she's wrong. In that case, I should first look for any holes in her theory. Rebut all! Especially hers. Seriously. So you believe that from the dying Mr. Rell stole the knife from Mr. Faraday?
Mr. Rell became desperate and as he did not want to die. Human beings can do amazing things when they are put to the test. So the two men struggled. And in the end, Mr. Rell was able to grab the knife and stab Mr. Faraday. The messy condition of this room is a testament to their struggle. Yes, my logic is perfectly sound.
Can you really say that it's perfect?
What are you insinuating?
Nothing. However, I can't let what you said slide by further inquiry. One must be clear and precise. So if you could append that statement to your testimony. Fine. They struggled and Mr. Rell used the last of his strength to counterattack Mr. Faraday. Those are the facts of this case. Well, I'm sorry, but I must present this to you, my dear. And this is what Scruffy said. Igiari!
If the two men were fighting, their struggle would have surely caused quite a bit of noise. However, Detective Gumshoe testified that he heard absolutely nothing. Ha! You place too much faith in that detective's testimony, you know. But for the sake of argument, let's say there wasn't a fight. How then did Mr. Rell get his hands on the knife?
Mr. Faraday's bag was sitting right here in lobby number 2. It is not hard to imagine that perhaps Mr. Rell saw a chance and took it out at some point.
So, what you are saying is this. Mr. Rell took a chance when he saw the opportunity and took the knife from the bag. And then Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Rell after being stabbed.
Isn't there something? strange infectious statement just now. Yeah, something's off.
Wait, something doesn't add up.
Oh, really? It's simply not possible for Mr. Faraday to have shot Mr. Rell after being attacked. Yeah, seriously. My notes say otherwise. According to the coroner's report, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously, meaning that he died immediately upon being stabbed by the knife. Ergo, he could not possibly have fired the gun after that. Oh, you got me. But of course. Well then, if the report is correct, then there is only one correct explanation. If we suppose that Mr. Rell attacked first, then Mr. Faraday, who died instantaneously, would have been unable to kill Mr. Rell. Therefore, Mr. Rell must have stabbed Mr. Faraday after he was shot. Then they both died. That is the only logical explanation that makes logical sense. Seriously, like, you show me yours, I'll show you mine. That is the only explanation that makes logical sense. Negating your opponent's ideas in order to prove your own theory. I see you've been studying me. I just wanted to explain it to you as simply as possible, before you foolishly propose a foolish theory like only a foolish fool like you could. How naive of you to believe that only your opinions are valid, and still expect to discover the truth that the crime scene offers you. Oh, May, you've still got a ways to go. That's what you're talking about! Are you saying that's a flaw in my logic? Mr. Faraday died instantly. And the fact that he did is what gives rise to the contradiction in the scene. The contradiction here in the scene is the order. Let me get this straight. What you are arguing is this. Mr. Faraday took the gun from his evidence bag and shot Mr. Rell. Then, the wounded Mr. Rell found an opportunity to take the knife and strike back. Upon being stabbed, Mr. Faraday died on the spot, and Mr. Rell died thereafter. If that's the case, then how do you explain this? Take a good look at the order in which their bodies are piled. No! Mr. Faraday's body is lying on top of Mr. Rell's. Therefore, Mr. Rell must have died before Mr. Faraday. Impossibly! Yes, I agree that it seems strange no matter what angle you approach it from. Which means that the real mystery behind this crime scene is... No! Not so fast, Reiji Mitsurugi! What now? I simply think that you ought to think a bit more outside the box. And that it is even clearer now than the incident started with Mr. Faraday's murderous intent. She sure bounds back quickly. An explanation won't be enough this time. It's going to take some very decisive evidence to prove her wrong. What happened, part 2? It was just chance that Mr. Faraday's body fell on top of Mr. Reyes, and she fell on top of me. What? The two bodies fell into a pile, which indicates that they attacked each other at the same time, I wish they would attack me at the same time. I mean, it really doesn't matter in the slightest that they fell in the opposite order. I just know that May's explanation isn't absolutely correct. All I have to do is find a whole new logic. Once I do, I can then present her with the evidence that proves the contradiction.
rebut all.
What do you mean, they attacked each other at the same time? I assume Mr. Faraday and the two different weapons in his hands. He made to attack Mr. L while holding both knife and revolver. Then, after Mr. Faraday fired the gun, Mr. L stabbed the knife as he was falling and stabbed Mr. Faraday. That is how Mr. A wound up on the bottom with Mr. Faraday on top. At close range, that is more than possible.
Yes, it is possible, but...
Well, if you have any other ideas, then show me what you've got.
Oh, I will. And to that extent, I'd like you to append what you just said to your testimony.
I don't see any point to that, but as you please. That fact indicates that they attacked each other at the same time from close range.
Oh, so you mean this. Ikiari! So you believe they killed it? So you believe they killed each other at close range? Sorry, but that's impossible. Just as it is written in the crime scene notes. The firing of the handgun did not leave a gunpowder burn on Mr. L's clothes. Therefore, Mr. L and the gun must have been separated by a distance of at least 2 or 3 yards.
Oh!
Yes, this is by far the biggest contradiction. The two bodies are piled up on each other, yet the gun was fired from a distance. And with that, there being no chance that Mr. L moved that far after being shot. That leaves only one possible explanation.
That's a completely foolish line of foolish thought from a thoroughly foolish fool. If I am not right, then who was it that made the first move with the intent to kill her? Who?
The person that attacked first with murderous intent. That would be... Niner. Here in this room. Contradictions appear no matter which man we claim attacked first. Thus, there can only be one explanation. There was a third person here. It was that third person who killed both Mr. Faraday and Mr. L, and set their bodies up to make it look like a double murder. That third person is the real culprit.
Myers Edgeworth, there is just one thing you are missing.
Evidence, right?
Exactly. Everything you have said up to until this point is nothing but a story played out in your head. However, this is where the real test begins. Can you prove that there was a third person involved in this crime?
Of course. If a third person was truly here, that fact would resolve the glaring contradiction. The proof that this all has been a setup made to look like they killed each other. I'll present it, and lay bare the final piece of the puzzle that's not yet in place. What is this piece of evidence that proves that there was a third person involved? The plastic bag.
Take that!
The gun in Mr. Faraday's hand and the plastic bag and his blood in it. These two items point to a presence of a third person.
How so?
Recall Detective Gumshoe's testimony.
I was in the hallway the whole time, and I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle.
If there wasn't a struggle in this room, then there shouldn't be any plastic bags on the ground.
Meaning that someone else must have deliberately scattered them around.
Do you not see the possibility in this? Disregarding the gun for the moment. There's a high probability of blood splatter when a knife is used on a person. If the culprit held the knife with a plastic bag around it, they could use it to catch any blood splatter from when they withdrew the knife. Then by spreading a few more plastic bags around, mixing the bloody one in with them, and arranging the room to make it look like there was a struggle between the two, they were able to conceal their presence.
Looks like we still got a long way to go in this investigation.
Yes.
Objection!
What? What? Who did that? What the heck's up with you, pal?
Mr. Bad, I advise you to place Detective Gumshoe under arrest.
What?
Gumshoe, how many times is that now? We've lost count of how many times you've been, I don't know, at the wrong place at the wrong time. My God, man.
What's the meaning of this?
Ha! Looks like you're not man enough to discipline your own subordinates.
Don't you dare.
That detective claims he was there, standing in front of the door the entire time. But I have on good authority that it was all a giant lie.
Miss you! I ask that you please explain that last statement.
I'll let his honor explain it himself.
So nice to tell you.
Seriously.
During recess, there was a period of time when there was no one in the hallway.
What? See, Mr. Bear? So I ask you, why would a detective who was supposedly doing his job the whole time want to fabricate such a lie?
Gumshoe, did you kill Faraday?
No! Of course not, sir!
It would appear that the one who set this whole crime scene up is that detective, which basically renders his testimony a wholly lie and a complete lie and wholly invalid. It looks like your perfect logic has just come tumbling down, Miles.
I was in the hallway the whole time and I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle.
Is that statement really a lie? Detective Gumshoe, you're now suspect in the murder of 2 men. Now spit out the truth, or so help me.
I haven't lied to anyone, sir, honest! I really wasn't really there. I was in the hallway the whole time.
Hold it!
Detective Bad, I ask that you please do not act without my permission. After all, I am the one that is heading up this investigation, am I not? Don't talk like you know what's going on, boy. All I want for this investigation to run perfectly.
Perfection is the only wish of a disciple of Cardamata, after all.
Therefore, before you take Detective Gumshoe into custody, I'd like to set the record straight on something. And what is that? What should I ask Gumshoe about it? a motive. I suppose the one thing I'd like clarified is Detective Gumshoe's motive for committing this crime. Motive. Gumshoe, you got a grudge against Faraday or anything?
No, sir. Not me. Not a single bad thing against Mr. Faraday, sir.
That's right. That sounds so manly for a woman, don't you agree? That's a manly sounding objection coming from her.
You really have a problem lying, don't you, Detective Gumshoe? I'm telling you, I am not lying! The more unnatural you act, the more suspicious you'll become,
Seriously.
If you want a motive, Edgeworth, I have one for you right here. The almighty uterus!
Oh, wait. Could you please share it with us?
Sure, it's the almighty uterus!
However, be forewarned that I won't hesitate to object to Flight's fact. Because all I'm interested in is the perfect explanation.
You're serious, aren't you? Fine. You amuse me, so I'll humor you with a little courtroom practice.
Maybe, 40, maybe. I wouldn't put it past it, I mean, this is Capcom we're talking about, and they held that little secret about poison from Final Fight for many long years, up until now. Gumshoe's motive, right?
It was about a week ago. Saw a detective get chewed out by a livid Faraday in front of the precinct. Stood there super pale. Mr. Faraday yelled, "That's a salary cut for you, you nitwit!" Brand new detective suddenly getting his salary cut. That's reason enough for a grudge. Well, how's that for a perfect explanation? You totally misunderstand me, pal! No matter how mad I got, I could never hold a grudge.
Quiet. You can't trust anything you say.
Sir.
There's nothing wrong with the motive she proposed, per se.
But there are some gaps in her logic that need to be filled in.
If she used perfect explanation, it may not be so perfect after all. Rebut all. If it was only a members only jacket, man, I'm just letting you know. If it was only members only, I'd say something about it. Lady, let me ask you something. You call your explanation perfect.
Is it not to your liking?
Ooh. Like I said, it's members only for that cut.
Unfortunately for you, it's just not up to my standards. Oh, is there something you want me to clarify in that case?
What should I do? Should I raise an objection? You always raise an objection.
Alright, if you could clear this one thing up for me.
Well, what's the motive for killing Rel? I understand Detective Gumshoe's potential motive for killing Mr. Faraday. However, how about his motive for killing Mr. Rel? His motive for killing Rel? Psycho would know. If there was no clear motive for both murders, then I would doubt this incident would have occurred. Wouldn't you agree? Is there anyone else who might have had a grudge against either of the two men? Or should we both look into that ourselves? Oh, in that case, I have absolutely no idea. You what?
That's impossible. She must know something. Wait!
Can you please not glare at me like that? It makes me laugh.
I didn't do anything. You're already laughing away.
Well, anyway, the way I see it, as long as he had a motive to kill one of the two, this crime would have played out the way it did anyway.
Oh?
Would you care to explain your logic?
Ho ho.
And this time, please try to provide a truly perfect explanation.
Perfect this, perfect that. Stop being so uptight, or is that a requisite trait for being of karma? Regiment Tsurugi, I demand that you shut this rude woman up!
I wish you'd both be quiet for just 1 second.
God, yes.
Oh well, I guess I'll just have to explain to you kids. Motive to kill men. There's no one out there with a motive to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel. All you really have to establish is that someone had a grudge against one of the two men. Mr. Rel, who happened to be there, became a witness to Mr. Faraday's murder. Therefore, he was killed out of necessity and set it up to look like they had killed each other. I would say both of y'all shut up so I can figure this shit out so we can move on. I wonder if that's really true. Is there no one out there with a grudge against both men? I should take another hard look at the evidence for this morning's case. The second KG-8 incident, as people are calling it, involving an embassy staff member, and the two men who both wound up as suspects in the case. Is there someone else I'm overlooking who is somehow related to them?
Rebut all.
Oh, there's someone out there. There's always someone out there.
Oh God!
You know he's not here. We know! We need to blame somebody. Okay, so... Here. Igiori! Miss Yu. Her full name is R.Y.U. I believe there is someone you overlooked in making your statement. Or rather, is it because you'd rather not bring this person up? What do you mean? We are looking for someone with a reason to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel. I can think of at least one person that fits the bill. He was the suspect in the original KG-8 incident, and a member of the Kodopian Embassy staff, Mr. Manny Cochin. That's right, the very man who came to visit you earlier out in the hallway. The man who killed a member of the Kodopian Embassy staff, Mr. Riel. And the man who was the lead prosecutor of the KG-8 incident, Mr. Faraday. Are you telling me that Mr. Cochin has no reason at all to kill both of these men? Well, I suppose you might have a reason to. You cover for me, pal! Maybe you're not such a bad guy after all! Don't get ahead of yourself. You're still suspect. Make no mistake about that. The perfect evidence. The perfect testimony. These are the only things I wish to hold. But I didn't do it! You will stay under my authority and go investigate Mr. Manny Cochin for me. And remember, I will not be very forgiving should any of it... You want to investigate Cochin? You just be wasting your time. And why is that? Cochin was up in the viewing gallery watching the trial, so I was told. Every cop in this place has been keeping an eye on the guy since he arrived. But then the only real suspect we have is still Detective Goncho. I suppose so.
Oh, wait, come on, Detective Badge, you gotta believe me, sir! I really wasn't in that hallway the whole time, sir! I never took a single step into this room, sir!
Okay, then you were saying there was someone else who passed through the hallway.
No, there was no one else, sir.
Then why should I believe you don't? Then why should I believe you didn't do it?
That is one incredibly foolish detective, standing right in front of a crime scene all by himself. It is as good as a confession of guilt.
I have to admit, it's a bit strange. Most criminals will fabricate some sort of lie to escape their crimes. And if that detective really wanted to prove that he is innocent, you think he would, at the very least, offer I spaced out while on duty of life? Come on, Gumshoe. Time for your interrogation. Detective Bad. This way.
Miles HUF, I will go on ahead and report this to Papa.
And that, as they say, is that right, everyone?
Well, I suppose we should both be getting back to our real jobs now, huh?
Oh, before we do, Miss Yu, there's something I'd like to speak with you about. He's a very bad example. Mike the Anvil Hammer.
What is it?
Really, do you have a dick? I must ask you this, for the sake of argument.
Now, what do you want to ask me about?
Do you have a dick? Never mind. The current case of the murdered Kodopian Embassy staff member. I've heard that people have begun calling it the second KG-8 incident.
Only among you law enforcement types. And what about it?
I'd like for you to tell me everything you know about the original KG-8 incident.
I'm afraid I can't help you. I don't know anything beyond what was reported in the papers.
No, I believe you know much more, since you are directly tied to the KG8 incident.
I'd appreciate it if you'd stop with the false accusations that I do have a dick. I might have a dick. Baseless outbursts are useless both inside and outside the courtroom, don't you know?
I do. But I also know that I do have a leg to stand on here. And it's on your dick.
Think you can stop making... You think you can stop making that ultra serious face in front of me?
If you would please stop laughing for just 1 second! I'm not going to make any headway like this. I'm just going to have to show her. Do you do Vedic? Do you do Vedic? Do you do voodoo? Exactly how related to the KG8 incident she is. Do you do voodoo?
Do I do voodoo? No.
Then why are you laughing at me? I must present this to you because you're not going to make any sense to me. It's a shame that we will not be able to face each other. It was to be my first trial too.
Oh, was that a declaration of war? How nice it is to be young and carefree. And what a nice squeaky clean badge you've got there. I'm jealous.
I'm sure his gleam will dull over time with experience.
Are you saying your reputation will also tarnish over time with it?
That's not what I meant!
Well, you can't just avoid some things in life.
I'll never allow my badge or my reputation to become tarnished. That is until one man happened to do it for him. Miss you. I believe that I have proof of your connection to the KG8 incident.
That follows your proof very well then. Why don't you tell me exactly how I'm related to the KGA incident?
Through the victim. Your connection to the KG8 incident is through the victim. The victim's name is CCU. C-C-U-N-U. C-U. There's CCU and CU. Her full name is See You Later. You will note that she has the same last name as you. Can you really still tell me with a straight face that you are not related to this case?
Sorry, but we're not related.
What?
Just kidding.
See you, see you, I see you, we see you. Ooh.
You asked that question with such a serious look on your face that I couldn't help but...
Miss you, I ask that you please tell me the truth.
Alright, I'll tell you everything I know. As you guessed, the one who reported the smuggling activities of the Amano group was my sister, CCU.
As I thought. She ended up in the ICU.
And she was killed right before she was to testify at the impending trial by Manny Kochin. But because he was tried once and was acquitted, he gets to live out the rest of his cushy life completely carefree.
All because of a lack of evidence.
Now I heard that the evidence to convict him did exist.
What?
I heard it from Mr. Faraday himself after Mr. Colchin's trial was over. Apparently a man in black made off with the most important piece of evidence.
Then the evidence had been tampered with?
Isn't it just like a criminal to do something like that? The smuggling ring being run out of the Amano group by one of its secretaries. They bailed Mr. Kochin out. Turns out they were in league with each other all along.
How big was that smuggling ring? Was it a large operation?
I don't really know. Which is why I wanted to become the lead defense on this case that people are calling the second KG-8 incident. But I haven't learned anything new at all. I was probably expecting too much, I know.
You mean you think this case has nothing to do with the smuggling ring?
I don't know what to think.
Why did Mr. Kochin want to meet with you earlier?
Actually, he came to watch the trial. Apparently, only found out that I was the defense lawyer on the case after he arrived. He figured he should say hi and one other thing. Looks like you couldn't resolve anything this time either. Too bad.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh boy, stop him with the scary face already! I'm fine, really. I gave him a good slap across the face.
The way she talks about slapping him as she laughs away is kind of creepy.
But it's just as Mr. Bad said. He's not related to the double murder. I asked around, the people in the gallery claimed that he was in his seat the entire time. Talk about cruel fate. Well, this is about all I know. Sorry. Guess I wasn't much help, huh?
That's not true. I'm sorry I made you recall such a painful time in your life.
Edgeworth, you really are too serious for your own good. You really need to learn to relax. We wouldn't want you to die of stress, would we?
Thank you for the advice, but there's no need to worry. I work in my own way, and I will catch this criminal in my own way as well. You'll see.
Look at you with your game face on, ready to go.
I'm making no such face!
Did you know? Laughter is the best medicine, Edgeworth. Don't you get tired of making such a serious face all the time?
I'm charged with making sure that all the criminals of this world are found guilty. I have no need for laughter.
There you go, making that face again. Oh well. I've got to get going. Still have a few loose ends I need to tie up.
The KG-8 incident and this murder investigation. It is my belief that these two cases are related to each other somehow. Plus, that Detective Gumshoe, it's obvious that he's lying, even though the lie is hurting his chances. Clearly, this case is far from over. But whether or not that detective is the murderer can only be determined once I've completed my perfect investigation. Mr. Von Karma, I swear to uphold your honorable name, or my name isn't Reiji Mitsurugi. I swear to God, this makes no goddamn sense. So we're because I won't rest until I have discovered every nook and cranny from the Thomas English muffin. Or my name isn't Reiji Mitsurugi. Okay, with that, that's part A done, and I'm going to switch over to part B very shortly. So, whether you're going to be here for it or not, it'll be up by Sunday. So just letting you know, doing part A and B tonight, and part C on Sunday. That way we can just get to the final part and just that's how I'm doing this thing now, just part A and then part B. There you go. So, gonna get a quick drink, taking my medicine, and I'll be right back with part B.